Welcome to Morrigan's Cottage. Morrigan's Cottage is a 200-year-old cottage set in Ireland's beautiful and wild west. Good morning, welcome back to Morrigan's Cottage. We're going to jump right into it because, as always, we have a lot to do and not a lot of time. It is Saturday the 15th of February and we are working on this wall here. So let me show you how yesterday's turned out. It's actually looking quite good. I wasn't super sold on it when we left the room last night. This little section here is where I added rocks to it because obviously there was problems. Now there is obviously a big section of mortar, but bear in mind this is going to be covered up. So this is what we did. We're going to move on to over here now. So we got to scrape out these joints, which is, I don't know why, but it's been a lot harder on this wall to get the joints scraped out. So I'm going to put you down and we're going to get working on that. It is freezing. When I tell you it's cold, I feel like I'm actually gonna have to go out to my car and get my hat because it is that cold. But let's just get working away on it because I want to get this done. We are back at the repointing again, and I thought, since it's quite, boring and there's a lot of repetition with the pointing and how you do it and everything like that, that might make for a slightly boring segment of this video and all the rest of the videos that are to come of it, that I would do voiceovers for this part, because there has been questions in the comments about the repointing and I thought this would be a good time that I could answer them. So if you ever do have any questions, just let me know and I can answer them in voiceovers or whatever. But you might hear Morrigan in the background, you might hear Bonnie in the background, you might hear the storm that's brewing in the background. So just watch out for that, especially if Morrigan starts squeaking her toy if you have any dogs around. But basically, the kind of content that's coming your way at the moment is a lot of repointing stuff, because that is the main task that I have to do. And there's been a couple questions about it, so one of the things that was asked a lot about this wall in particular is if there was a chimney there, if there was a stove there or something like that, and I don't know is the answer. So this wall here, there is possibly soot stains on it. I think that's the most likely answer rather than it being wet. I think it's soot. On the opposite side of this wall in the smaller bedroom, that has the big fireplace that all of the cooking and the heating and everything for the 3-roomed original cottage would have been. So some comments have suggested that maybe it's just soot stains coming through, and that's definitely a front-running option on what could be causing or caused these soot stains, if that's what they are. Another option is that potentially there could have been a stove, or there could have been, someone suggested a bread maker or something like that at this wall back in the day, and that is also an option. I don't know what the most kind of accurate response is. This room that we're working on now, this would have been the main bedroom, so I'm not sure if there would have been a bread maker or a cooking stove or anything like that in here, but I don't know. But as far as I know, this was always used as a bedroom. On the opposite side of the wall to this, in the room, there is the old fireplace, so that's most likely where a stove would have been or a fire would have been burning. But that's not to say that there wasn't a second fire burning in this section of the room at some point. So I don't really have an answer to that question, but I think potentially it's the soot leaking through from the opposite side where the really big hearth would have been once upon a time. So in preparation of getting the rest of this wall completed, you can see over on the left side, that's where we did the last time. So now we're moving over towards the right side of the wall, and I'm just scraping out the old mortar that's in there. It is a mix of, some of it is cement from repairs throughout the years, some of it is mud and horsehair and things like that, and then little sections of it I think potentially was lime. So it's really important to get that old stuff out so I can put the stronger new stuff in. Parts were really hard to get out, which is why I had to use the SDS at points, which wasn't my favourite way of getting it out because I didn't want to mark the stones, but it was the only way to get the old pointing out. And then once that old pointing has enough taken out, we'll move on to putting the lime mix in. Okay, so the bottom half, hopefully you can see, has been mostly scraped out, and we're going to work on pointing this today. this is how much we've done. This kind of section here. And we're going to take a little break and have some lunch. And then we'll be right back at it. It is bloody freezing. I actually can't feel my toes. So it's kind of crazy to think that we are in February, second year of February here at Morrigan's Cottage. And this time last year I had about 10 people following me, and now we're creeping, I think we're at 7,000, which is just nuts and a bit scary because that's a lot of people watching the videos. But it's really cool, and oh, the dirt from doing the walls. It's really cool and scary having so many people watch the videos, but a lot of people watching are newer followers. Morrigan, she has to play when I'm talking if I'm not talking to her. A lot of people are newer followers, so I just thought I'd reintroduce myself and give you a quick rundown of what's going on. So my name's Aisling. I am in my 30s, early 30s, but mid 30s maybe, and about a year ago I bought this old house. It's, oh, thank you Morrigan, Mummy's actually trying to film. It's 200 years old at least, although it's probably older. We're probably looking at closer to 300 years old, but I have yet to find proof it's 300 years old. But based on how it was built, it's more within the 300-year-old range, but it's definitely 200 years old because we found it on the early 1800s maps. The house is there. So this is an old Irish cottage. It's a vernacular cottage made out of, local stone. It would have, in the olden days, had a thatched roof. And then in the 50s, probably around then, the owners added an extension in the back. So the kitchen, the living room, and this room that I'm in here are part of an extension that was added on, I think they said based on how it was constructed, probably the 40s or the 50s. And it's solid block. So the front of my house is the 200-year-old part of the house with the stone, and the back of the house is just a run-of-the-mill 1940s, 1950s extension. So we've had the house a year and not a lot has been done to it, and I just want to explain why. For anyone who's new, we have applied for this grant in Ireland. It's the vacant house grant. You can also get a top-up for a derelict grant, but we didn't go for that. When I say we, it's me and Morrigan. It's her house, so we're doing it together. I wouldn't be here if she wasn't, with me. But so basically we applied for the grant. Before applying, you have to get all these quotes and all this paperwork, blah, 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 blah. That took about 6 months from when I bought the house to get that paperwork. And then it took 6 months for them to come out and do the inspection. And you can't live here at the house and you can't do any work until that grant is approved. So for the first year, I kind of did little bits here and there, but you really couldn't do a whole lot to the house. And then at the end of November, finally, we got our approval letter. And then December and January happened, which were the worst 2 months of my life. Morrigan got quite seriously injured and she had to have emergency eye surgery. And thankfully she is recovered and it's wonderful. And then unfortunately my nan passed away in early January. So it's been a real crap couple months. And in those months we also had 2 huge storms. We had Storm Dara, which knocked our electrics for about 9 days. And we then had Storm Owen? I don't know, it's a name I can't say. And that knocked the power, I think, for 2 weeks. It was just about 2 weeks. So we've had a lot of things going against us and it's really slowed things down, but we're starting to make good movement. If you watch the Irish Homestead, or if you watch Camper Vibes, their builders, Desi, and his second-hand man, Francis, they are going to be coming and doing my house. And everything is kind of in place. We're just getting kind of bits done that we can get done until they come. And they are coming soon. I don't have a set date because they were pushed behind with the 2 big storms because they have emergency repairs. You saw on the Irish Homesteaders, their roof got damaged, so they had to go get that helped. with fixing. So they're really busy and I'm not in the biggest of rush. So when they come, they're going to get everything done and it's going to be wonderful. But that's kind of where we're at. For anyone wondering, we've had the house about a year. The first year we actually couldn't really do much. We did a little bit, like we painted the walls white. We did like little bits like that. We cut a lot of grass. Listen, I have a hater who loves to just leave really mean comments on any video they watch. They leave very mean comments. Yes, we cut a lot of grass. Sorry. It's a homestead. We do gardening here at the homestead. But this year we're going to be doing lots of other stuff as well, and hopefully once we get the house sorted we can start looking at getting some animals and really working on the land, because this isn't a renovation channel. There's renovation in it because we're renovating the house, restoring the house, whatever you want to call it, but it is also my life and my homestead that will hopefully start planting soon. But yeah, so I just wanted to give that quick introduction, kind of fill you in. If you're new, we are just getting into the thick of it now. Sorry for everyone who's watched for the last year. You haven't seen a lot of movement, but you did get to see a lot of cute Morrigan, and that, I think, at least for me, makes up for it because I'm her mommy and I love her. But we're getting into kind of the thick of it now. We're doing lots. And yeah, we're ready to keep going. And then once the lads are finished, once they've kind of left, there's still going to be a lot to do. They're not doing everything. They're doing the big stuff. They're doing the heating, the electrics, the plumbing, the roof, the gutters, anything that I'm not able to do, they'll be doing. And then after that, we're going to go room by room, decorating, flooring, skirting boards, all the stuff that they're not gonna have the money to do because I don't have the money to give them. So and then hopefully eventually a new kitchen, lots of stuff going on. New doors, can't wait to get a new front door, can't wait to get a new back door. I'm holding off on the back door for now because I think I'd like one of those really big sliding doors, and that would require, I think, planning permission. So that's just not a right now thing, that's like a future thing. And then obviously eventually we'll want the utility room done, which it just isn't in the budget right now. Then the stables, the sheds have to, I don't know if you want to call them sheds. My mom calls them sheds. Technically, they were sold to me as stables because they are for animals. But my mom says they're sheds. But they need to get repaired. They need to get fixed up. We need to get the polytunnel. We need to get the chicken coop. We need to plant all the trees we want to plant. We need to get the orchard planted. We need to get the cottage garden sorted. There is so much to do that I actually don't think I'll ever have a moment of free time again, but I'm loving it. And then hopefully, soon. Donkeys, goats, chickens, pigs, all of it. Ducks, I can't wait to get a few ducks. But yes, that's what's going on. And I just wanted to say welcome if you're new, and also thank you for sticking with us if you're one of the poor people that had to wait the last year for me to actually get anything done. But it wasn't through laziness or anything like that. It was just, unfortunately, hands were tied. There was a free throw at 50k for this grant, which will hopefully be paid. For the grant, it gets paid after you do all the work. So I had to scrounge and look into every little cubby and every little behind the couch and everything for every penny that I could to try get up to 50k to get these builders paid. But we're finally making movements and I'm so excited. But we're getting lots done the last couple of weeks. Now that we're back at the house, we're getting lots done. So it's time to get back and start doing those walls. I'll get Missy here, get her back onto the bluey, and Mummy's going to go do the walls. We'll go out the back for a minute and then we'll get on to bluey. Where's your ball? I'm gonna go get that ball. I'm gonna go get it. Are you gonna go out and have a look? I'm going to get it. I'm trying to teach her that she can be out while I'm in. She can be in while I'm out. She can do what she wants. She's on a long lead. Good job. I'm coming to get that ball. She kind of likes to be with me though. But I'm in here. I've just got you set up. This is the behind the scenes. But we're going to work on this wall now. Hello, welcome back. It is 4 o'clock. It is still Saturday and we took a break from the pointing, had a bite of lunch, and then made the decision. So to cut a long story short, the plan was I came down Friday morning. We were going to stay here all Friday and then go back up to Dublin Saturday afternoon, because I have to be back in Dublin for 11 a.m. tomorrow for my nan's month mass or mind or whatever it is. So that was the plan. But then I decided, since there was so much work to do, that we're going to stay over tonight and then drive back up to Dublin really early tomorrow morning, like 7 in the morning. So that's the plan. So we're going to get this half of the wall finished today because I want it done. And then we can celebrate once it is done, because that is a big task kind of off the list. So that at least this wall, this half of the wall, will be done. Then the hope is, I'm kind of hoping the builders don't start this week, so that next weekend I can do the middle section of this. So that's the plan. That is the plan. We still have this wall, we have this wall, we have this wall. We have to finish that wall in there. The kitchen still needs to be done. There's one wall in the kitchen. And then, the opposite side of this wall, now we're not touching it. So they have to fix up this and probably this side here as well. So for anyone new, this doorway that goes from the bedroom into the living room, so the old house into the extension, this used to be a window. And when they knocked out the bottom of the window, they kind of just left this big gaping problem, which I discovered. So that has to be fixed by professionals because I want that done properly. But yes, so this half of the wall we're going to get finished. And then that's going to be covered with plaster when the builder comes. So all my hard work is going to be hidden away, but that is okay. Because the top half of the wall, which we will get to eventually, it's not a rush because that can be done after the builders are gone. That will be left exposed and it'll be clean, so it won't be like this two-tone. So anyway, we're going to get straight into it and get set up, and we're going to just work away until dinner time. Morrigan is in the bedroom. She has an electric blanket, she has the oil radiator, and she has a treat. So I'm the one suffering. So I probably won't do a step-to-step process on how to repoint a wall or how to remake your lime mix or anything like that, just because I am not a professional. I haven't done a course in it. I have just kind of learned from watching other people's YouTube videos and playing around with it myself. So I don't want to put information out there that maybe isn't correct or there's better information, but I will tell you the steps that I'm doing. So with the lime mix, first of all, loads of people have asked what lime mix I'm using. So it is Round Towers NHL 3.5 fine premix. And it is dead handy because all you have to do is add water. You don't have to mix up sand and lime or anything like that. It's already mixed for you. You add in the water and there you go, you've got your lime mortar. And so far, really happy with it. You can watch kind of the other videos. I think last week's video showed kind of the dried product that's in the small bedroom after, I think it's been about a month or maybe 6 weeks since that's been put in. So you can look at it there if you want to see kind of what colour it might turn out when it's fully dry, because obviously at the moment it's still wet, so it looks more kind of grey, but it does lighten up quite a bit. But it's dead handy to use. You just add the water, mix it. You can leave it for a little while if you want, or you can kind of start plugging away with it right away, and it works really well. It's kind of hard to go wrong with it. So that's the one I'm using. Its brand is Round Tower and it's the 3.5 NHL fine, and it's the premix stuff. I think it's about €18 a bag, and at the moment we've used about 1.5 bags for this kind of completed half wall and the little bit of wall that we did in the other room. So it seems to go quite a fair way. And they are really good to deal with. This is not sponsored or anything, it's just that these are the ones that was recommended to me from my engineer, and they ship it out really fast, and it's, like I said, not super expensive. So that's the lime that I'm using. If I have a link, I'll put it in the description box. So that is the lime that I'm using, so that's the one I would recommend, but obviously you can figure out your own lime and what would work for your project. It's really quick and easy to make. So once you have it mixed up, then you just start pointing in between the different stones, and you push it in there quite far, and then when it starts to dry a little bit, obviously that's when you can do your kind of brush banging to make sure it's in there pretty good. And then when it's a little bit more drier than that, you can do your brushing down just to make it look a little bit cleaner. But that's kind of the process, and like I said, I'm not an expert. I am just doing what I have seen online. So if you do want to become an expert, go to a local course, or I think there's some stonemasons that put the information up onto YouTube. Morrigan squeaking in the background, so hopefully your animals do not get upset with that. But I am going to let you fade into some music now, because I don't think I have anything else to say at this point. Alrighty, here is where we're at so far. This is the section we did last night, then we did a little bit more here today, and now this is the section we're after doing just right now. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to bring Morrigan outside just for a little run around. It is not the nicest weather outside, but she needs to get out. And then when we get back, we will finish and we'll go right over to where kind of we stopped scraping it out. Eventually, obviously, the corner will get done, but just the electrics and stuff is there, so I don't want to play around with that. But if we get this finished off, I will be a very happy camper. Alrighty, little walk done. Time to get this finished. I am not stopping till this section is done, but really happy with what I've got done, how it's turned out. I'll turn this around and show you close up. It looks so good when it's been brushed. Okay, well that's like a bad spot, don't look at that bit. But it looks a lot better when it's brushed. Now it still needs its final brushing, so don't like judge it too much. But this is obviously kind of with its first little brush, and then over here is what it looks like before it gets brushed. So you can see there's like a big difference and how it looks brushed versus unbrushed. But yeah, it needs a little cleaning up still, but we're gonna focus on just getting this part done. And then we can finally stop for the evening and just rest. We're done. I'm so tired. Obviously we have to do this section over here, but I can't do any more. I'm so tired and cold. So we're finished. I'll come back, wipe this down, probably tomorrow morning, and I'll show you before we go. But that's it. Good, very early morning, and welcome back to Morrigan's cottage. Oh, my hair is in the wrong place. There we go. It is just after 6 a.m. in the morning, and we are packing up to go back to Dublin because we have mass at 11, so we need to get back up. But I just thought I'd show you the wall the next morning, kind of still drying out, but looking so much better than when we started. So I'll just turn you around and you can have a look, and then we are done. That's the end of the video. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want, give it a like, if you want to leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, to follow along on what we're doing. Thanks guys, bye. Here is the wall. This part's obviously already dried more. And then the part on the right is still quite wet. Well, it's not quite wet, but it's you know, it's not as dry as the left because we obviously did that before. There's quite a bit of difference because obviously on the right side we have this staining going up the wall, but eventually when it's cleaned, I mean the lower half won't be cleaned, but we'll clean the higher half so it's not too coloured like this. But yeah, it's looking good. Very happy with how it turned out. It's nice and stable. If you remember, we had this big hole here and I added a couple stones into it. Those are now rock solid in there. And then this stone here was falling out, and that's now rock solid in there as well. And there was a couple stones. This stone was falling. It's now rock solid. There was a couple stones over here that were falling, and they're all rock solid. So yeah, it's looking really good. So Happy days.